welcome back to Storytime. I hope that you have had a good week. So last week we read a story about a man named Saul, and Saul became a really unexpected follower of Jesus because when our story started, he was not nice to followers of Jesus. But we know in our story his heart was changed, and his name actually changed from Saul to Paul, and he became a really important person when the church was first getting started. And so our story today is actually going to be another story about Paul and some of his journeys that he took. And when Paul traveled, he a lot of times would take friends with him to help him share the good news about Jesus with others. And so this week we are going to hear the travel stories of Paul and Barnabas. So let's go see where Paul and Barnabas traveled to. Come on. As Saul traveled and talked about Jesus, he took a new name. He used his Greek name, Paul. And while he was in Syria in the city of Antioch, the followers of Jesus sang and prayed, and God's Spirit told them, "Send Barnabas and Paul to tell others the good news about Jesus and God's love." The people of the church gathered around Paul and Barnabas. They laid their hands on them and prayed for them. Then Paul and Barnabas sailed away on their long journey. On the island of Cyprus, they traveled from synagogue to synagogue, telling people about Jesus. From Cyprus, they sailed to Perga, then to another city called Antioch in Pisidia. They told the people there the good news about Jesus. They said, "God was with our people in Egypt and as they traveled in the wilderness. God was with our people in Canaan, giving them judges and kings to rule them. And God is with us now. We have good news. Jesus came to show God's love." The next week, the whole city gathered to hear Paul and Barnabas. Some people became followers of Jesus, but others became angry. Paul and Barnabas had to leave Antioch. They traveled on to Iconium. They preached in the synagogue, telling people about Jesus. They did amazing things to show people their words were true, and many of the people became followers of Jesus. But others became angry and wanted to hurt them. So Paul and Barnabas escaped to Lystra. In Lystra, Paul healed a man who could not walk. Many people believed in the good news he shared. Others were angry and tried to kill him. But the followers of Jesus protected Paul. Next, he went with Barnabas to Derbe. They spoke to the believers there and helped them grow stronger in their faith. Then they sailed back home to Antioch. The believers there gathered to hear about the journey. Paul and Barnabas told them all about what God had done and about the many people on their travels who had become followers of Jesus.